What do you think about a $75 per ounce silver price? Do you think it's possible? I do. I think when we look at the supply-demand dynamics in the silver market, predicting a $75 per ounce price is not out of the question. It could even be as high as $100 or $200, I've heard some other people say. We like those people, right? But what are these big factors, these big stories, these big situations developing within the silver market that could result in the price catapulting much, much higher? We're going to talk about those in this video, but first we're going to cover a quick review of what happened last week in the silver market. Let's get started, me and you, right now. So how are you feeling about your silver this week? It was a decent week, basically even. Silver started the week at $19.04 per ounce and went all the way up to $19.20 per ounce, a little shy of my $75 per ounce target. The silver miners fared about the same, basically even for the week. So it wasn't a great week, but certainly wasn't one of those painful weeks we've all endured where silver drops 15% and the miners go down 20% or whatever. So we can be grateful for a decent week. Now, it's important to point out, this is very interesting, that just 3 years ago, the price of silver was $15 per ounce. That's significantly lower than where we are right now. However, the mining stocks were about 10 to 15% higher on average. So now we have a higher silver price, but lower mining stocks. That doesn't quite make sense, does it? Doesn't make sense to me. The other thing we want to talk about is the silver to S&P 500 ratio, which is near all-time record lows. What that means is it takes more ounces of silver to buy 1 unit of the S&P 500 than it almost has at any other time in history. That will revert to the mean. That will make for better days. Thank you, yes, you, the one and only you, for deciding to join me here in Ron's Basement today. It's an honor and a privilege to have you here. You and me, from wherever in the world you are, you're always welcome here. We dive a little deeper. Viewers of my videos definitely are smarter than the average bear. If you get some value from my video, from the content, please consider subscribing right here. Now let's get back to the interesting silver subject at hand. Do you think silver can really go to $75? It's a matter of supply and demand. Let's just look at demand. We've got big purchases by big money in the last few months in the silver market. We even had a few months back a Texas billionaire make a massive purchase of silver. Big money is moving into the silver sector. And if you've tried to buy any physical silver lately, what you've experienced is record sky high, record premiums for physical silver. That can only mean one thing. Retail demand, investment demand for silver coins, silver bullion is through the roof. And look at this Reddit group called Wall Street Silver. Over 200,000 people are members of this group with the sole aim, the sole purpose of purchasing and holding physical silver. The movement around the world is growing. And let's just look over at India, who's importing a record, I mean smashing record amount of silver this year, predicted to bring in 350 million ounces of silver into India. The everyday average people in India, people like you and me, are buying silver like wild. That 350 million ounces they're buying, that is a big, big part, almost 40% of the entire world silver production for the year. It's astounding. As a matter of fact, you may have read this little quote or this little statistic. In the month of August or September alone, the amount of silver that was just in that 1 month imported into India was equal to the entire amount of silver that's being held in the vaults at the LBMA to back all those millions and billions of paper contracts that they trade on the make-believe unicorn fairy fart dust paper silver exchanges. We're going to wrap up on demand right now, but first I wanted to tell you, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts about this subject. Is there really a silver shortage? Could we be seeing a silver squeeze in the near future? Some people think so. I'd be interested to hear, so would the others, in what you think. You don't have to agree with me or anybody else, but you do need to share your comments so we can get to know you and learn from you. What about industrial demand? We'll wrap up our discussion about silver demand with industrial uses. 2021 saw a record demand for silver for industrial uses, up almost 9%. You know, it's used in just a few products: medical devices, solar panels, electronics, electric cars. The list goes on and on and on. There are more patents for silver than any other metal. I found that to be very interesting. Maybe that's a new factoid for your arsenal while you talk to others about the benefits of owning physical silver. Next, we're going to talk about supply. People want silver, right? That's the demand side of the equation. But where is that silver coming from? And there's really some cool, interesting dynamics developing on the supply side of the silver equation. Before we go there, I just want to ask you, if you enjoy my content and you want to get alerted every time I put out a new video, find the little bell. I have no idea where it is. You're going to have to look for it yourself. It's a little bell icon. If you press that, you'll get alerted every time I put out a new video. That way you won't miss a single thing. We know from the supply side of silver, the mine output is about 850 million ounces per year. Guess what? Since 2016, mine output of silver has dropped by darn near 10%. So the supply of silver being mined, coming onto the market, is decreasing. And don't forget, that doesn't all just go into investment. A lot of that silver is consumed by industry. Have you thought about that? So while the demand for silver goes up, up, and up, the supply coming onto the market is going down, down, and down. And it's no wonder when you consider a couple key facts, right? Like, it's not profitable really for a silver miner to dig silver out of the ground right now. And it's been a struggle for the last 10 years. So there has been very little investment in the silver industry. The supply will continue to be constricted. Talk to any mining company CEO. Trust me, you can actually call these people, especially the mid-sized companies. The CEOs will talk to you and they will tell you it's darn near impossible to find a good new silver deposit. I've heard Keith Neumeyer say many times he would love to buy a good silver mine. There just aren't any of them out there. And when they do find a new deposit, it's very expensive to identify it. It's even more expensive to permit it. Takes about 10 years, and then you gotta hope that it actually is able to produce the silver as projected at a profit. The bottom line is this: there's been very little investment in the area for the last 10 years, and there's a 10-year leeway to even get new silver onto the market. The supply side of the silver equation continues to look very, very challenged. Do you think there's a big supply of silver from normal, everyday people like you and me who've invested in it going back to the market because we're selling it back to our local coin shop? Wrong. Talk to any silver bullion dealer and they will tell you that basically nobody is selling their silver back. Heck, a lot of the big coin stores are now offering $10 over spot just to buy back American Silver Eagle. So we can't count on the retail investor to provide a big influx of silver supply as we move into the future. And finally, let's take a look at the vaults for the LBMA, the London Bullion Market Association, and the COMEX here in the United States of America. Those are the big paper, unicorn fart, fairy dust, where they make up all that paper make-believe digital silver, right? But they do have to have a vault where they own some actual physical to back up all this stuff that they create, those vaults are being drained at an alarming rate. Now, I'm not an expert in that field. There are several people who know a lot more about that, registered, eligible, all that good stuff. But I can tell you for sure from my level of analysis of that subject that those vaults are being drained at an alarming rate. Hey, it all paints a very favorable picture for the supply demand dynamic within the silver market. $75 an ounce, it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when. It could be 7 months, it could be 7 years. But in 7 years, we could also see a silver price that would just absolutely floor us if we were able to look that far out into the future. And won't that be fun for us? Won't that be a great time for those of us who have steadfastly held onto our silver, believing in the thesis, hanging out together? Hey, you know there'll be a big party here in Ron's basement. In the interim, as we sail through the choppy waters, and we've already been through some really choppy waters recently, right? We know pain. I'll be here for you, and I want to see you come back. You're always welcome here. Leave a comment in the comment section below, but most important, remember, you are important, and until next time, be well.